Okay, this is War and Peace, which is from Mark McLaughlin's. This is the sixth edition. It's a game that covers the Napoleonic Wars at a operational strategic level. This is very much a premium product. If anyone's played the original, it's all the counters are miles better. The map's better. All the play, everything's better. It's just a really decent version of it. It still has its issues though, which I'll go into in a minute. People who've seen me play this game before on this channel, so the introduction should be fairly quick. I'll just point out some issues with the game. Now, in my edition, I don't think I've got the edition before mine, the fifth. I did have quite a few errors and things. There were errors on the map, like that production city, infantry production city, wasn't marked Plymouth. Also, some of the counters were wrong. The transport counters were blank on the back when there should have been two on the back. Um, there probably are other errors still. There is an errata sheet. I'm going to have a quick look through it and see. I know one thing in my version, there are some units in the Egyptian map that are listed as optional reinforcements for the main game. You can't use this Egyptian map in the main campaign game. Okay, it's a different scale as well. So the units would represent different things if they were ever brought into the main board. So just ignore that if it's in your version. So the British Army should be in London or in Portugal like it was historically. One thing I would say about the map, you can see the mountains, but these low mountains are really difficult to make out. What's a clear and what's a low mountain? You can do it, but it's not brilliant. The other thing I would say is the counters, the Austrian counters and the Prussian counters. All right, they're white and they're grey, but it's a very light grey, and it's not at all easy to tell what's an Austrian, what's a Prussian. Admittedly, they've got their national flag on the counter, but it could be a lot better. It was loads better in the original game. One thing I have done, I've taken some counters from the original game to mark the fact that Sweden is neutral and Denmark is. In the actual game, it tells you to use the French counters for the Danish and Russian counters for the Swedish, but I've just decided to bring in some counters from my old version of the game to make it obvious that they're neutrals rather than the French or Russian satellites. I'm using the optional naval rules, which basically allow you to. You're more likely to get the Battle of Trafalgar with these rules, these historical rules, than you are if you play the game using the naval deployment in the box. Anything else I'd like to say about it? Yeah, these are a bit disappointing, the leader displays. They're actually worse than the ones in the original game. There's just not enough room to put units in these boxes. These should have just been bigger. Now I might make my own versions of these. If you go over here and have a look at the French one, you see Napoleon, he's got these units in here. They're all stacked within the box that's designed to prevent stacking. So it's not good. There's a couple of things. The guy who designed the game, he's actually created some additional optional rules, which I'll be looking at, which I've printed off Board Game Geek here, and I've also got someone's printed off some information on the alliance phase that allegedly makes it easier to go through. Now, if you go on my channel, I'm pretty sure I've created some training videos for this game. I think I've only done them for the campaign game, where it's been particularly this naval stuff that's been introduced, which wasn't in the older games. This is really good because I remember when I had the game originally, I created my own version of this, so you could fight all the various actions in, say, India and Pacific, Africa, whatever. There were a few bits and bobs going on. Right, I'm not really going to say much more because I think you can find it all in my intro. I will mention the rule books and everything. They look pretty decent. We've got a table of contents. They haven't got indexes, which is not good. I always say produce indexes. Now what they have done, there's a separate rule booklet for the campaign. Standard, I don't need that standard rules booklet here at the moment because I'm playing the full campaign. The player aids are good, they're really nice. The big problem with them was they were only like a triple sheet which you folded out, which was totally clumsy, so I've cut them up to make their basic 3 sheets instead of one big sheet that folds out and double-sided, which I found it really difficult to use. One thing I will note, if you loot at the counters, they don't take a lot of heavy handling. As you can see here, lands, the counters deteriorated. That was the same problem in the original version of the game. There's not a lot you can do about that. If you're using tweezers and things, obviously it's not going to be an issue. Right, that's it. Now, anyone who was looking at the war in America and hoping I was going to carry on with that, I've got no problem with that game. It just wasn't doing it for me at the time, and I got distracted by some Napoleonic wargaming rules and a board game that arrived from a crowdfunding thing. So, right, I'm waffling now. I'm running out of things to say. There we go. We're starting the campaign in September 1805. I have started moving the neutral units because they get moved first. Prussia's the only neutral at the start of this. Okay.